Okay, let's give this a shot and let's record a podcast. So, before starting this podcast, I had many thoughts. I was like, where am I going to film this? What am I going to talk about? I have absolutely no idea. So, basically, went yesterday around my house trying to figure out where I was going to film this and trying to think of different spots. And it was hard because I don't have an office anymore. I used to have an office before my second daughter was born, who is almost 3, and that got turned into her bedroom. So I have a little loft area and it just doesn't work for that. And then I was like, you know what? Let's come down the basement. And I think maybe one of the best spots for a motherhood related podcast is going to be in my old nursing chair that I refuse to give up and in the basement surrounded by all toys. Like if you look in front of me right now, I should probably try to record this after because my phone is recording the podcast and a video, which you can go see on YouTube. But it is covered with toys from when Adeline was playing earlier today. So it is just a covered mess. But I thought, what better place to do it? And it's kind of secluded. So if I ever have to do it when the kids are home, my husband's are home, husband's. I don't have husbands. My husband is home, then I can do that. But today I thought I'd go through for the podcast and kind of talk about. I saw Mel Robbins' podcast did this, and then I saw Renee of the Mom Room, who I absolutely love, did it. And it's 7 things for the new year. So I kind of took some notes on it because I was like, I should be somewhat prepared if I'm going to do a podcast. And like I said, there was many things going in my head through this. I was like, what am I going to do? Am I going to have a mic? I have this little mic. I was like, am I going to clip it to me? I don't know. And then I decided just to hold it because I'm awkward and I didn't know what to do with my hands. So I was like, at least this gives me something to do. So that is that. And do I have a name for this podcast yet? No. But do I have a list? Yes. So it is TBD. It'll be a surprise for you. It'll be a surprise for me by the time I upload this podcast. And let's be honest, probably get my husband's opinion too and see his thoughts of a few names that I have written down. So, yeah, we'll see what happens with that. But before I get into the questions, I'm just going to say one of my goals for this podcast is just to be real and motherhood. And if you guys ever have questions, we can talk to that on here and just kind of be a soundboard. Because sometimes in motherhood, you feel like you're the only one going through something. Like you're not sleeping through the night and you just feel so exhausted and you feel alone in that. But like really you're not alone. There's so many moms out there who are going through the exact same thing. And just when you hear other people that can relate to that or just like, no, that like that is me. That's what's happening to me. And I talk a lot about that on my Instagram when I do like funny mom related like videos and stuff. That's what I kind of focus on because it just makes you feel you're not alone, like I said. So that's kind of the goal with this. And then just to keep it short and sweet, like 30, 45 minutes, we'll see how it goes. And just kind of like one take. And if there's hiccups, you're gonna see them. You're gonna be there with me. So it's kind of like a one shot thing. Let's hope because also I'm a mom and I don't have time to re-record. So if something happens, we're just going to keep going with the flow because I don't got the time. I don't get the time to redo it. So let's get into these questions. I wrote down and got my iPad out so I could have some notes. So these are the Mel Robbins 7 questions for the new year. Also, you're probably going to hear my dog bark. He is loud. He is annoying. He's tiny, tiny, tiny. Okay, not like tiny, tiny. Cockapoo. Medium size. But he's loud. And he sounds annoying because he is annoying. But he sounds like he's going to attack you, but he doesn't. But he's probably barking because he hears the UPS guy coming from like a mile away. Okay. Anyways, on to the first question. So it's describe the highlights from the past year of your life. And this took me a little while to think about. And Mel Robbins had a good point, like kind of going through your phone and scrolling through and kind of seeing some of those highlights. And it came down to, I wrote down 2 big highlights that happened for me this year, and that is traveling again. So that was the very first thing. So we went to Punta Cana in November. It was my husband's 40th birthday, as well as my daughter turned 5. So we're like, you know what better time to go away? And we hadn't done like a big family trip or like haven't been on a plane. Like I consider that a big trip when you go on a plane. Like yes, we've done things like locally within Ontario, things like that, but we haven't done a big trip. And neither of my girls had been on a plane. So I was like, this is the perfect time. So that's like a really big highlight for us that we finally got to go away. Yeah, because I was saying like the last time we went away was pre-pandemic. It was our baby moon, so 2019. So before I had my first daughter, so that was 29 mid 2019 or early 2019 that we went away, and it is now early 2025. So we were long due for a good vacation. So that was really nice. We actually had the in-laws come with us as well because yeah, 2 kids on vacation, like, we still wanna have a vacation, so very lucky to have them with us to kinda help out, and I feel like I always want in-laws or, like, my mom to come with me on a vacation or just go with friends and family and or other friends who have kids just so they can play, just so you get a little bit of downtime as well, but no, it was really good just seeing the kids, like, just I remember going to those trips when I was younger, and it's just amazing, so I was really happy that they got to, experience that as well. And then the second big highlight from 2024 was quitting my 9 to 5 job. This was something, oof, that was not easy, but I had thought about for months prior. Just, I think it was just time. Like my side business, like during the social media, was it was doing well, and I was like, it was hard to keep up with both of them, and like my passion obviously went to more during my own business and during the social media, and I want to spend more time with that. And then it also came down to um, just not having childcare support. So are my in-laws and my mom like very, very helpful when they can. But one lives in Waterloo, one lives in London, Ontario, and we live in Stony Creek, Hamilton, Ontario. So it's not like easy childcare to someone to help me like after school or things like that for when I'm working. And we couldn't get into before and after school care. Like, I don't know if anyone else has tried to do this, but it is not easy. Like, I guess you had to go on the list like 2 years prior or something. Like, it is wild. So we just couldn't get on the list. And my work was asking for more in time um, work instead of like work from home, which made it harder to like get home for the school bus and things like that. So I was like, you know what? I think it's just it was time. Just wasn't as happy at that job anymore either. And yeah, I won't gonna lie, like it wasn't easy. I definitely questioned myself a lot at the beginning too. It was I want to say like a little midlife crisis for a good month or so, quitting, being like, what did I do? Was this the right decision? Like it was just you start questioning yourself. And I think that's what a lot of people do. You question yourself with everything that you do, and it's scary. Like I was at this job for almost 10 years. So it was a long time. It was a big part of my life. I made great friends there who I still talk to now. And yeah, but in the end, I think now it is such a big highlight of 2024, and I think I'm just proud of myself now for taking that step, taking that leap because life's too short. It really is. And now I have more time to be with my girls and yeah, just be more present with them when they get home from school from the bus and not feel as hectic with doing it all. And I know not everyone's has that situation to do. And I know some people have more help with like friends or family with different things, but yeah, life's just it's too short. It's too short. And next question is number 2, what are some of the hardest parts of last year of 2024? And honestly, this goes back to the same thing I just talked about, quitting my 9 to 5. That was one of the hardest things I think I did. It was tough. I didn't know if I was making the right decision, kind of like I talked about before. So, yeah, that was probably one of the hard things. And then questioning yourself, questioning myself with quitting that job and so many other things like, are you making the right decision? Like, do I need to like find a new job? Should I get a part-time job? All these different things. And yeah, you just question yourself with it all. So that was a hard part of it. As well as I want to say like sleepless nights. Like, yeah, my daughter's almost 3, my youngest, but it almost feels like a blur now. Like they always say, like it really does kind of like blur. But at the beginning of the year and for a while, it was rough with her. So I talked a little bit, I think, on my Instagram. I can't remember with it. Like I said, it all kind of blurs. But she was waking up at like 4:35 a.m. Like it was absolutely insane. My husband and I were just not sleeping. It was like we were just angry too because we just weren't getting sleep and she was waking up so early all the time. And then she had a lot of issues with her it's like I guess it might get like TMI a little bit in here on this podcast, but with like diaper rash and then um constipation, like just trying to figure out like bowel movements and stuff for her. She had a really rough time. So long story short, we had to go to like a pediatrician, and let's just say Restorelax is a godsend for children. It is amazing because we had some serious issues and she was just the diaper rash, like uh, this was like the worst diaper rash I've ever seen. It was terrible for a long time. So I think a lot of stress with that was really hard in 2024. And but it's a lot better now. She's doing amazing. Skin's all fixed up. She's all better. But it was definitely it was rough in a lot of aspects just because when you don't sleep, you're insane. Like you're tired, you're crazy, and it affects a lot of other parts of your life as well. Okay, number 3. What did you learn about yourself this year's some highs and lows? I don't know if I really broke it into like highs and lows, but things I learned about myself in 2024 is I'm a homebody. I've become such a homebody now since having kids and not as much FOMO anymore. Like before I'd be going to like events in Toronto, like there'd be times I'd be going down to Toronto multiple times a week. And now I'm just like I I just don't care. I don't care to drive into Toronto, sit in that traffic. Someone's actually going to come after me for the way I just said Toronto, aren't they? Toronto? I should know the proper way, but come at me if you want. But yeah, I just don't have the FOMO anymore. Like I just don't care to drive into Toronto, spend an hour in traffic, an hour back. Like it just doesn't interest me unless like sometimes we only really go it's like for the kids, like we're going to like Ripley's or we're doing something, but then you go like early in the morning where you can kind of like fly in and fly out. But yeah, I just don't have that desire or FOMO anymore to go to random events and do things that just don't fully fill my bucket. Like I would rather spend time with friends and family at my house, come over, have like drinks and snacks. Like I'd rather do that, spend an evening here playing Mario Party. Like with my friends and family, with my kids upstairs sleeping. Like they're just, I think my priorities have just changed and I just focus on being home for them and yeah, just like not going out either. Like I don't want to wake up in the morning and feel crappy from having too many drinks. Like I don't enjoy that anymore. If we're back in my 20s or 30s and stuff, it just didn't bother you as much. But now, yeah, I just don't want to wake up and feel crappy. So I love being home. I love being in bed by 10 o'clock. I love reading my Kobo before I go to bed every night. Like it's just, I just did a little burp. I am so sorry if that came through the mic. Because, like I said, I'm not editing this. I don't have time and I don't even know how to do it. I don't even know how to upload this podcast yet. So we're going to figure that out too. But yeah, I just want to be in bed by like 10 o'clock. I want to read my Kobo. I want to just relax. I want to be asleep by like 11 the latest, you know? I want to watch my bad reality TV. I want to watch some Jersey Shore, see my below deck when the kids go to bed, eat some chips. Like that, to me, that is a good night. Okay, number 4. What am I going to stop doing in the coming year? And this is a tough one because you always like think about what you're going to start doing, but like what are you going to stop doing? And I had to think about it. I was like, okay, what am I going to stop doing? I was like, maybe like I find I compare myself a lot too, especially other people on social media and different things like that. So it's just like I want to stop comparing myself to other people online and seeing like their numbers or like what they're doing. Be like, oh my God, do I need to be doing this? And because it's a highlight reel, it really is. Like people show mostly the good things on social media, but like, are they showing the bad things? No, not as much. So you think everything's so like perfect and dandy, but like it's not. So yeah, my thing is just to like stop comparing myself to other people and maybe just like not get so overwhelmed and like worked up with stuff. Like I feel like I get very overstimulated very quickly and I feel like this is something that came on when I became a mom. It is not something that I really struggled with before, but like now I can get very overwhelmed very quickly when like both the girls are playing, they're playing with the plasma cards and they're like scooting around the house, but then like they had a TV show on and then like my husband's trying to talk to me and I'm like I'm trying to cook dinner and in my head I'm thinking about like, oh my God, I got to get these like groceries done. Oh my, I didn't call for like Addie's medication update. I didn't like, did I get the swim like lesson changed? Did I like all these little things that just go like boop 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 in my head and it just goes nuts and it just like overwhelms me and I want to stop and find a way to like kind of calm that and not be so insane with it. I feel like. Number 5 is what am I going to start doing in the coming year? And I think that's like, I guess it's kind of like relatable. So like to like the past question, but something I want to try doing is being more present. And this might be bad, but I am very guilty of sometimes when the kids are just like watching a movie or just playing, doing something, I can easily pick up my phone and just start scrolling. And it's something I'm very guilty of and something I'm aware of and I want to stop, but it's just so hard and you just like consume so much. And also I think that's something that like can make you feel overwhelmed too, like the overdoing of social media. So that's one thing I want to stop is just be more present, put the phone down and just be in the moment. I think that's something it's going to take a little while to work on, but yeah, something that is on my list for 2025 to do that. And then like going for like the work side is just creating more relatable content, maybe being more honest, more real with some more vulnerable with the type of content that I'm creating. Cause like it can be scary sometimes putting things out there that are so personable that like are not necessarily like a positive thing, but like things that you know other moms might be going through as well. So like I think my goal is to share that, like kind of like my fuck ups in the day. Like I posted a story around the holidays, and a lot of you related to it on my Instagram. And I was like, I need to create more of this content, like just saying like what was the things like so you saw like photos of like me like before it was like having cookies out for Santa and we were spending some time in the hot tub, things like that. But like what you didn't see is I burnt those cookies. I left them in the oven too long. I did not set the timer properly. I burnt the cookies for Santa. We didn't get to enjoy them. I just basically, when the kids went to bed, I threw them in the garbage. They were gone. And that's what happened. I burnt the cookies. We spent time in the girls went in the hot tub. And as soon as they came in the door, because it was like hot to cold, Addie instantly peed all over the kitchen floor. Like absolutely instant, huge puddle of pee. So I'm like trying to run her upstairs, pee drops everywhere. It's just like, it's just so much happening at the same time. So like you just don't see those like little things that actually happen that are real, that are my fuck ups in the day. So I guess my goal is to share more of my fuck ups. So also if you don't like swearing, I'm sorry, but there might be some F bombs in this. Okay, we are on to number 6 and is what I'm going to continue doing in the coming year. So, some things that I've been currently focusing on for myself. So, this might be like more of a self care thing too. Is I've been trying to exercise more, prioritize self care, and not feel guilty about doing those things. So, like the workouts in the morning, I want to. There's a few times I get up early before the girls in the morning, and I really like that. I find it helps me in the morning. I feel more calm. I feel more relaxed. I had my workout done. I've had a little bit of coffee, like things like that. So to continue during like working out in the morning, getting that physical activity, just getting stronger, like not necessarily to lose weight within eating healthy and exercising. It's just more to be healthier and be stronger is what I want from working out and from eating better. So just learn more about more protein intake because I don't eat a lot of meat, so it can make it a little hard. So like no red meat, things like that. So finding different options for that just to create better, healthier options for food. And then as well as like I said, the workouts, getting that and taking me time and not feeling guilty about it. Not having the feeling of, okay, I'm going to go do this with my girlfriend for an hour. I'm going to go meet up for a coffee. And then in my head being like, okay, but when I get back, I'll give my husband like 2 hours to be alone. I'll do this. So I'll do this and this, but he can do this and that. It's like, why should I feel like I have to do something else? Like we're equal. So like there are other times where like I'm watching them and he's out doing something, like not feeling the need to rush back so quickly to them. Like he's fine. He's good with them. Like I don't I know other moms feel this too, where you just rush back to home to be with the kids and then you're just like, I should have just spent more time. Like I should have spent more time with that friend. Like there's no need to rush back or feel like you gotta give them an extra hour out. I don't know. I don't know how to word it completely, but I'm sure you guys kind of get where I'm coming from with that. And number 7 is what can you do today to take the first steps now that you set kind of a direction? And I don't I don't know what I said. My note was doing it right now. It's like, am I? But I think I meant to talk about earlier, like some goals and stuff I had was starting this podcast, um, talking about more real things and content. And I feel like I'm starting to do that. Like even right now, like I'm recording this podcast. I figured it out. Like I'm going to find out how to upload it and create more like motherhood content on different platforms and stuff. So things like that. I've been continuing my workouts in the morning. And so it's things I'm just doing right now. And other steps I can take are just, yeah, just working on it, being present. And that's a really tough one. I probably should have been better with that one. But I think I am working on that and taking the right steps right now to go in that direction and start all these steps of, yeah, of 2025. Like who knew 2025? Like it's here. Like someone said the other day when I went to just fill Addie's prescription today because you had to pay like the what is it? The when you're doing not the deposit, I don't know what the word is, but when you the new year for prescription, so you have like a little fee you got to pay from like benefits or whatever. And I was like, "Oh my god, it is like a new year." Like it just didn't really occur to me that it is a new year. I'm just like I feel like it all meshes into one. So, yeah, 2025 is here. I have a lot of fun plans, a lot of new travel things I want to do and go on like just a whole bunch of goals for this year that I really hope I can bring you guys along with. So that's like I said, traveling with the family more, not feeling guilty about doing things for myself, and starting this podcast that has no name right now. But when I upload this, it will have a name. So we're gonna figure that out. But that is the first episode. If there's anything you guys want to share, be sure to like share your goals, maybe in the comments or send me a message on Instagram. I always want to hear that. And yeah, that was the first episode. I think in the next one, maybe I'll talk a little bit more about me and motherhood. But I figured being the first one in the new year, we kind of had to jump right into goals. But yeah, I think the next one we're going to talk about more about motherhood and maybe I can do a little motherhood journey of myself. So we'll see you guys next week.